So in this episode, I got back to my favorite format on the podcast, which is Q&A. Got a great question from Mark on LinkedIn, really just asking why am I so passionate about soft tissue treatment? And where do I get that fire and that desire to want to get this care to more people? And also, he's just very honest and transparent too. He goes, a lot of times you end up bashing other treatment modalities, specifically chiropractic or physical therapy. Why do you do that? And a lot of times, can't we all just kind of get along? So I really went through this and just broke it down to why I'm so passionate, why I believe that soft tissue treatment is the number one treatment modality in the entire world, how to believe in yourself more as a massage therapist, and really just give you some tools and some tactics to help yourself believe in yourself more and deliver this care to more people. Because at the end of the day, I want to get more soft tissue treatment to people out there that are injured and in pain so they don't have to end up in a bad place, which is more pain pills, injections, and surgeries, which only make everything worse. So appreciate you guys listening to the show. Enjoy the show. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Soft Tissue Revolution podcast, where we show massage therapists how to double their income, all while working less and being taken seriously as healthcare providers. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the podcast, getting downloads from all over the place. The Soft Tissue Revolution is growing and just continues to motivate me to keep making these podcasts. Myself, I'm very busy. I still run a couple of clinics. I'm still treating. I'm still in the shit, as we say. But this is something that's a true importance to me and something where I want to get this message out there and help more people. So we're back at it for Q&A. Q&A is my favorite podcast format to do. I get questions from people all over. I don't know where you consume my content. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere you can think of, and on this podcast as well. So I got a really great question from Mark on LinkedIn last week. And it says, I must say, you're one of the most passionate people I have ever seen in the soft tissue treatment space about the absolute necessity of hands-on soft tissue treatment. I definitely agree with you on it, but you do seem to bash other treatment modalities too much. I know people need access to more treatment that we do, but why can't we, and this is in quotes, all just get along and help more people? Also, when I listen to or see your videos, there's a deep level of fire and conviction in your delivery and an importance of soft tissue treatments. How did you get that way? And how can I start being more like that? So thank you so much for this question. I'm going to kind of break it down here a little bit. I have an older podcast where it was with Steve Singleton, who was the first person that I ever trained that's a massage therapist. And he tells you to go back and listen to some of my earlier episodes where I talk about why I do the things I do, why I'm passionate and everything like that. But I realized that I've kind of shared bits and pieces of my story, why I'm fired up, why I'm the way I am, and why I'm not for everybody. But I wanted to really put this out there so people could understand a little bit more about my motivations, where I'm at, and what I'm trying to do, and my mission really at the end of the day. So I realized I didn't really ever put this all together, but this is a great question. I get these questions a lot of why are you so passionate? Why are you so fired up? I get it. It's great. Soft tissue is great, but there's other things too. And I understand that sometimes my delivery and my demeanor can be a little bit brash, but that's just kind of who I am. I'm not for everybody. I'm a blunt truth teller. And sometimes people don't want to hear the truth. So a little background on me. I've shared this before, but I have a doctorate in chiropractic. I got that back in 2011. About halfway through my schooling, I was in a class. It was an applied kinesiology class. And basically the teacher was talking about all these things and how the healing powers of chiropractic, and you have to believe it. And I always say any technique or treatment where it's you have to believe it without any real hard data isn't going to be able to solve the problem. And I was halfway through my education to get the doctorate, and I was about $80,000, maybe $100,000 already in. And I started questioning things about why I didn't do adjustments. I talk about that in past podcasts. I won't bore you to death with all of those details. But at that point, I really got into the soft tissue side of things. The idea that hey, bones and discs and cartilage and tendons are all supported by the soft tissue system. And if you can fix the soft tissue system or the tissue itself, you can actually fix problems. So that's when I really got into more of like a soft tissue based approach. I did what I needed to do to get my doctorate, pass boards, do the adjustments they wanted me to do. But the whole time I was really diving in deep to the whole idea of like importance of soft tissue. I really researched anatomy, physiology. I took every soft tissue treatment therapy out there you could think of. I took every ART course over and over again and really just started diving in. And that's where my early beliefs about like the importance and the superiority of soft tissue treatments began. That was early in school. And then I got out of school, and like everyone else out there, what I realized was we went to school, and it's almost kind of like I was an electrician that went to school, but I didn't know how to wire a house. And that's basically what happens. You know that in all schools, they kind of teach you the things you need to pass the boards, to go through and check the boxes off, but they don't actually teach you how to critically think and start to figure out some of those problems. And I found a lot of that shortcomings in even the soft tissue systems that I was working. Was more like treatment focused instead of like actually getting to the root cause of what is going on and thinking critically. Luckily, I stumbled upon another mentor, and he really helped me with that and really got more deep into that soft tissue delivery. And it just continued to facilitate my belief that it is truly the most superior method out there. And people need this as their first line treatment method whenever there is an injury. So I didn't really know what I was doing when I got out of school, and I'm not going to like bore you into the details of all that, but I would say go back and listen to episode 2 about how the medical system killed my dad. It was just awful. I don't even like talking about it that much because it's just so upsetting what happened to him. And I originally started seeing him when I first got out of school, but I didn't really have a clue of what I was doing. I was just kind of throwing some shit out there and see what happens. And I was never able to fully help him. And he ended up dying of a pain pill overdose. And it was an awful day. He didn't die right away. He coded 8 times. Just, even thinking about that makes me emotional right now, and that he had to suffer. But after he died, I made a promise to myself that other people weren't going to end up like this. And I was going to get this care to more people so they could stay the fuck out of the medical system and get the care that they needed. But what I also started realizing was that the conservative care treatments also aren't great, like chiropractic, traditional physical therapy, personal trainers and stuff like that. It was really lacking in the being able to figure out what's wrong with the client. What everyone was doing is they're like, well, I do this type of technique or I do this type of treatment. This is what's wrong with the client. I'm going to do this and go from there. And we're not really actually fixing people and figuring out what the problem is. So that was a big thing for me. Like after he died, I was like, I got to make some changes. I don't know. It just can't keep happening. People are dying left and right because they're not getting access to good quality treatment. And when I started, I first only worked with chiropractors who specialized, in soft tissue treatment. Like they did soft tissue treatment and it was usually their main modality for the most part. But what I found was they still wanted to default back to the adjustment as well on top of that. And they're like, well, they're all good in conjunction together. I'm like, no, they need the soft tissue. You don't need to do the adjustments. The adjustments don't actually do anything. And this is coming from somebody that spent $150,000 on a chiropractic degree. I don't believe in chiropractic adjustments at all. If you fix the soft tissue, you don't need to do adjustments. I get hate mail all the time from chiropractors out there about how I don't believe in the healing power of chiropractic, blah, 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 and that my school let me down, all this stuff. All it is their own shit, and they understand that their stuff really isn't working. Why do so many chiropractors employ massage therapists in their clinic? Because it's making them look better. You don't need to work for a chiropractor. You can actually get in there and fix problems yourself. That's what I really got into. So I was working with these doctors and they would do really well, but they'd always want to default back to the adjustment as well. And they're like, well, we do whatever. And I was like, man, I can't do this shit. Like I can't keep messing around with this stuff and not getting to where it's actually fixing the client long term. And they would like dabble in soft tissue, but they were never fully dedicated. It's like get so good at one thing and be the best at that and actually fix it. And that is soft tissue treatment. You need to be the best in the world at what you do. So I made the change and the switch to training exclusively massage therapists. I think this was back in, 2021. This was like beginning of 2020. I was like, man, I'm going to work with massage therapists because they have the best hands in the world. they're delivering soft tissue treatment from there. And I just decided that I was going to start training different ones. I had a massage therapist come onto my clinic, learn my system, go through all the ins and outs. And now I train and coach massage therapists all over the world into my system. But I spent a lot of time like really figuring out what this does for massage therapists. And what happened to me was I learned that there's a lot of problems with massage therapists in believing themselves. And they always take a back seat to other practitioners. So some of you people that have met me over the years, especially on LinkedIn, I send a message like, hey, I'm trying to connect with other soft tissue providers, other like-minded people that know that this is truly the superior method out there. And people connect with me all the time. They're like, yeah, I'm on board for that. But I'm amazed. I'll get messages back. They're like, yeah, soft tissue is great. And I know that, but I'm not that special. I'm not as great as you say I am, and they're like too humble. And then they don't believe in themselves. And that's a big thing that I saw was that they don't believe in themselves. And I believe in massage therapists more than they believe in themselves. That's why I put all my eggs in one basket for training massage therapists how to do this. And they just take a back seat to other practitioners. And I have a podcast where I talk about that. Like, don't be subservient to other practitioners or things like that, especially chiropractors and physical therapists. Chiropractors aren't fixing anything. And this is coming from someone that has a chiropractic degree. And we all know physical therapy, like the traditional physical therapy with like heat, stim, some exercise, it's not getting to the root cause of the problem. But yet we always like feel subservient to those other practitioners. They were allowed to stay open during COVID. They were deemed essential. Massage wasn't. That's a whole different thing. Talk about those in other podcasts as well, of like whose fault it really is that massage therapists weren't deemed essential. And you can go back and listen to all those as well. But so why do I bash? I guess it's just my delivery. I'm a little rough around the edges. I like to swear. I like to be honest. And it's just my delivery. But at the end of the day, chiropractic isn't solving much. Traditional PT doesn't even use their hands for the most part. And we all know what the medical system does. So as, what was his name again? Mark said, like, can't we all just get along? It's like, no, we can't. We just can't. Because at the end of the day, if there's an injury, the very first thing you need to do is restore range of motion. We can sit here and argue about that all day and get into like a dogmatic technique arguing of that. But at the end of the day, somebody is injured and in pain because their tissue is bad. They have limited range of motion. And if you don't fix that range of motion and allow it to stay, not some temporary bullshit where you do some neuro treatments or some stretching or some heat and stim, like actually going in there and breaking down that tissue with your hands, you're never going to be able to fully solve that problem. And these people are going to end up in bigger problems like pain pills, injections, and surgeries, which only make things worse. So yeah, I'm real fucking passionate about what I am, and what I do, because soft tissue treatment is the number one solution for injuries and pain. But it's kind of like, it takes like a back seat, and I'm tired of it taking a back seat because it really is fucking awesome. It really is amazing. There I go, swearing and saying things, but it's the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts, and sometimes people are blunt, but I am very blunt. The world needs more truth and transparency about what is really going on with injuries and how to fix them. And all the injuries, like I said, must start with restoring range of motion. And the only way to do that in a lasting way is with hands-on treatment and, a little bit of instrument work here and there. But the problem is it takes skill and practice. And most people are allergic to that. They want like this one quick fix thing, like, oh, what is this one hack or this one thing I can do to fix everything? And massage therapists fall victim to that as well. It's like, oh, if you treat this one muscle, it's going to make a difference. No, you got to figure out what's wrong with your client. You got to actually ask questions, do a functional evaluation, and go from there. I've learned a lot over the years, good and bad. And I know what truly works. And I want to share that with massage therapists so they can be first-line injury treatment providers and, just help along the journey to solve the pain pill epidemic so more people don't end up like my dad. It's a really good one to go back and listen to, how the medical system murdered my dad, and you'll understand where my passion and fire comes. Like, just seeing him, knowing that the medical system killed him and they failed him was this, it motivates me every day. It's kind of a dark place that I go, but it keeps me motivated to continue to get this care and be more vocal about it. At the end of the day, all you have to do is take the step to learning something new. Start believing in yourself and deliver world-class soft tissue treatments. And my training can help you do that. You just have to take some action. The information is there. You just have to be ready to commit. And I can't help you until you fully commit, But once you do, I won't let you down. So that's why I'm so passionate, because I've seen the real world shit of what happens. I see what happens when people get hooked on pain pills, how it destroys lives, it kills people. And I've also seen the dark side of the conservative care model, where it's like never-ending physical therapy that doesn't really do anything. Chiropractic adjustments where you got to keep coming back over and over again. And then massage therapists just keep taking that back seat, and you can't take that back seat anymore. You need to go claim what's yours and be that rightful person in there. And sometimes you just need somebody with a different perspective. Like, if other massage therapists are saying this, it's like, oh, okay, but I'm a doctor of chiropractic that doesn't believe in chiropractic adjustments and believes in soft tissue. I believe in you. I'll be your voice. I'll go out there and I'm not afraid to like argue and call out other professions on their bullshit, because it needs to be done. But you have to start believing in yourself and understand that you have the most amazing tool at your disposal. It's your two hands, but you have to learn how to use them more effectively in the right way. And that starts with slowing down, figuring out what's wrong with your client, and not just performing a service and providing a solution. So thank you so much, Mark, for that question. This is why I'm so fired up and I'm so passionate about what I do, because it is the number one treatment option for injuries. Getting in there and fixing the soft tissue with your hands thoroughly, effectively, and something that lasts. And that's not being taught even in the massage world. I'm teaching that. All the information, how to get a hold of us, how to become part of the soft tissue revolution is in the show notes. I appreciate the question that I got. And I'm sorry if I rub people the wrong way. Mostly I get a message every couple weeks from like an older lady, probably like 50 and up. They're like, your language is a little offensive. I'm like, then don't fucking listen to my stuff. At the end of the day, some people don't want to hear the truth, but I'm going to always give the truth. And at the end of the day, we know that soft tissue treatment is the best in the world. And you just got to get better at it. And then you got to tell everybody else about it, because you can get so damn good that they can't ignore you. That's all I got for the podcast. Appreciate you guys listening. Grab that training, reach out, start believing in yourself. If you need a kick in the ass, talk to other people in the soft tissue revolution that are making changes every day, just like you are. And they're doubling their income, and they're working less, and they're being taken serious as a healthcare provider. Because at the end of the day, if you're providing world-class treatment, keeping people away from surgeries, you deserve to make more money. You deserve to have a better business. You deserve to have a better practice. You don't need to be subservient to other practitioners, and you don't need clients to tell you what to do. They're going to come to you because you're actually solving and fixing their problem. Appreciate you guys listening, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Thanks so much for listening to the show. If you're a massage therapist and you want to learn more about our new methods that allow you to easily double your income without working any harder or getting burnout, we have some free resources for you. 1, join our Facebook group, The Soft Tissue Revolution. 2, subscribe to our YouTube channel. 3, request our free training series. 4, leave us a 5-star review and share this podcast with anyone else you know it can help. Links to all our channels and free training are in the show notes.